رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Indeed, it is a great privilege and honor to be given this opportunity to anchor or to make this presentation. So on this note, I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for me and for all of us to listen attentively and to benefit from what is going to be presented. On that note, with the kind permission of the chairman of the occasion, Ambassador Abba Ismail, the chairman of the session, I want to take this permission to proceed with the presentation of the paper. But before I do that, sir, there's a slight addition that I want to mention that has been made to the topic of the presentation. Particularly, you can see that the lecture topic is exploring business opportunities in Hajj and Umrah ecosystem. So what we did was, you can't run away from the Hajj and Umrah ecosystem and discuss anything about business with Saudi, particularly the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, without talking about the halal ecosystem, which is currently a burning conversation. So on this note, sir, I will proceed on the existing protocol with your kind permission to present the paper. Secondly, I want to also appreciate the organizers, Independent Hajj Reporters, for also giving this platform for us to be able to contribute. In his speech, he made mention of so many how. I was wondering, I hope the presentation I'm going to make will answer all these hows biiznillah. Then the chairman, in his own welcome remarks as well, was able to use a lot of data, and that also was another challenge. I hope that I will be able to provide a lot of data and insight, not to make my paper just a practical on an academic paper, but a more industry-based, a more practical presentation that at the end of the session, inshallah, we'll see that our tour operators, our state pilgrims welfare board, will be net contributors to the GDP of their various states than those withdrawing or drawing from the state's lean forces. So this is the intention, this is the goal, and this is the plan. And then, of course, lastly, our father, distinguished, was also put so many things that I was wondering. I said to me, Allah, make it easy for us, and we'll see what we'll do. So the paper will take a more industry-based, a more practical approach than an academic paper, like I earlier said. So starting, the Hajj and Umrah pilgrimage sector have evolved from a purely spiritual undertaking to a significant economic driver, particularly for Saudi Arabia. In 2025 alone, the number of Hajj pilgrims reached approximately 1.67 million, with over 1.5 million arriving from outside the kingdom. However, the economic significance extends far beyond the Hajj season. Umrah, which operates year-round, has become a fundamental economic pillar under the Saudi Vision 2030. Saudi Arabia's Guest of God service program aims to increase the number of Umrah pilgrims to 30 million annually by 2030. In 2024, the kingdom served over 18.5 million Hajj and Umrah pilgrims from abroad. So, what is the economic contribution of these numbers to the kingdom and to the whole Hajj and Umrah exercise? The Hajj and Umrah sector contribute approximately 7% to Saudi Arabia's GDP, with annual direct revenues estimated at over $12 billion US. When including indirect spending and hospitality investments, the economic value is substantially larger. So, like I said, we will go with data. so that these things are practical. Over 420,000 workers from public and private sectors served pilgrims in 2025. More than 34,000 volunteers participated during the season. Saudi Arabia has invested over 87 billion to optimize Hajj operation as of 2023. Saudi Arabia has the most hotel rooms under construction in the region, with over 35,000 rooms in 81 hotels, with 24,000 rooms being constructed in Mecca alone. So, from this point, whatever I'm going to be discussing here are not new to all of us. In fact, many of us here are well more informed and well more positioned than myself that I'm making this presentation. But of course, like I said earlier, it's a privilege, it's an opportunity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted. So there is the traditional view and the business reality. Currently, we all know logistics is one key thing, because of course, if people do not move from their various locations, Saudi Arabia has only 100,000 pilgrims. Over 1.5 were from other countries. So that means logistics is number one, because if you can't find yourself into Saudi Arabia, you can't do Hajj or Umrah anywhere in the world. Number two is the tent and accommodation. Of course, accommodation must be provided. Number three, feeding. You have to eat. We have to eat. Then without food, you cannot even perform the obligations. Then the ground transport, of course, from airport, from the land borders, from the water borders and all of that, you have to move from one position to the other. Even if you are in Mecca, from your hotel room to Mina to so many other sites of the Ibadah, you have to move. So that is it. So what is the business reality now? These are things that we know they are there, but how are we benefiting from all of this? So the business reality is that there is high volume financial system. Of course, the chairman has mentioned the billions in dollars or trillions in naira that are being expended in this exercise. Then the predictable annual cycle. Hajj is annual as far as we are alive and this world is existing. Umrah is an all-year round event, so there is no any time, there is no any day, except days that for organization and coordination, the Saudi authority may restrict the observance. Then affordability gap. Of course, the verse of the Holy Quran has mentioned it. Man istata ilayhi sabila. So if you cannot afford it, in as much as it is the fifth pillar of Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make it mandatory. Yes, it is compulsory, however, for those that have the wherewithal. Then, of course, the last one is the untapped market potential. So, in summary, the binding constraint is not demand. The demand is there. The affordability architecture is now the concern. So, how can we make all of this very seamless, very easy, and very affordable? Dependence on oil revenue. So this is for Saudi for you. As we all grew up to know, Saudi is a major source of revenue is oil, and now it is changing from that landscape, from that position to a now non-oil area. The vision aims to diversify the economy, with pilgrimage serving as a cornerstone for sustainability, sustainable religious tourism. So what are the key strategies for this? Capacity expansion, because we need to understand the Vision 2030, we need to understand what Saudi government is doing, and then that is when we will now be able to see how we can position ourselves to be able to explore and participate in this huge market potential and opportunity that lies and that everyone is trying to benefit from. So number one is the target of 30 million Umrah pilgrims annually by 2030. Number two is Hajj capacity continuing to expand through infrastructure development. So under the infrastructure development, we have the expansion of Masjid al-Haram, both in Mecca and Medina, then new airport and transport infrastructures, licensed hospitality facility